Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the Glock MOS system and if it's any good. So real quick, for those of you that don't know what the MOS system is, basically a plate system here that you get these plates, your slide will already be milled out, and then you put these plates in depending what optic you want to put in. So basically it's a system that allows you to put an optic on your gun straight from factory. You don't have to do anything to your gun. Now let's just get into the question of, is it actually good? Does it work? Is there better options? The really short answer is going to be, yes, it does work decently, but there are better options out in the market, and there's ways to improve it, and we're going to go over that here a little bit. So the better option in my mind is going to be milling your slide. Now, if you are somebody that's going to use this for duty use, concealed carry, or home defense, something in those lines, I think that you should just get it milled out, because that mill is going to be milled specifically for one optic, where this is basically plate system for a bunch of different optics. You can get 4 different plates. You can buy other plates depending on what optic you want to go, which is really cool that they offer that, because it gives you a lot of different options in that way. But if you're going to run something as a duty gun, I think it's smarter to just get your slide milled for one specific optic, and that way you don't have all these extra things that could go wrong with your optic. Instead of 2 screws, now with this system you have 4 screws, because you have to put this onto the gun, then you have to put the optic onto the plate system. So in my head, I think it is smarter for a duty / home defense gun that's going to be used for work, should be milled. Now, if you already have an MOS, don't think, oh no, I just wasted my money or it's trash, because the MOS system does work. I've ran it for 2 years now, and I have used different optics. I've used 3 different optics on this gun. This is probably the optic that's going to stay on this gun. This is Trijicon SRO with the shroud from Jaegerworks. This is the Bro shroud. And I'm really happy with the system for the fact that with what I do, where I test a bunch of different optics, it's worked really well for me. Instead of having to mill out 3 or 4 different slides, I'm able to just take these plates and switch them, put a new optic on, and it makes testing optics really easily. So if you're somebody that just wants a range gun or likes to use different optics, then the MOS system is a really cool system that I think is going to benefit you. But if you're somebody that really is dedicated to one optic, where you're like, okay, I just want the Trijicon or I want the Holosun and I want that to stay on there, then I think milled's the way to go. Now, there's good news if you do have an MOS and you're kind of like, oh no, maybe I shouldn't have went this route. And that is the CHPWS plate. And that is what I have here on the slide right now. And it's basically an improved version of the MOS. It's basically what the MOS should have done. I mean, there's really, when they did the MOS, it was a really cool idea, but I think they could have put a little more thought into it. And that's what CHPWS did, is they put a little more thought into the plate to make it more improved to where you can trust it a little more. So one of those things being on the plate, it has these raised pieces to where when you put the screw in, it threads in further. So with these plates, you don't have a lot of thread that actually goes down into the plate in the gun. So it's very easy for those to come undone if you're not Loctiting them or checking them a lot. So without adding too much confusion, if you want a duty gun, something very specific, you have one optic in mind, get your slide milled. It's the best way to do it. It's a little more expensive. You're gonna be probably spending around $100, if not more, to get it milled. But just know that. But make sure when you are doing this, don't be like, I want to mill it, but I want to save some money on the optic, so maybe we'll go with a cheaper one. We'll go with like a $200 optic. Make sure if you're going to mill your gun, you mill it for the optic that you're going to want to stay on there. Because I actually have a slide downstairs that Jaegerworks did a beautiful job, and it's milled for an optic that I wish I would have milled it for something different, because I really like the slide, but it's not an optic that I personally am going to trust my life with. So I use it a lot at the range. It's a cool range gun, but it's not something that I'm going to personally ever carry. And it makes me sad because the slide's beautiful and I'd love to put it on my carry gun. But make sure you get it milled for the gun or the optic that you want, because once you mill it, and don't quote me on this, they might be able to do something about it, but it's probably really hard to mill it for a different optic depending on what they're going for. So definitely make sure you made the decision on what optic you want to go in, and get a good one. And Trijicon makes really, really good ones, probably the best out there on the market. RMR is definitely the best. Holosun, the 508T, is another really good option. So that is my personally the #1 thing that I would do, is get it milled. Second, I would go with the plate. If you're going to go with the MOS, definitely get a CHPWS plate for what you want, because I think their plates are superior and it improves on the already pretty cool MOS system. The only downfall with that is it kind of limits you a little more on what you go, because you'd have to buy new plates for every optic you want to switch. But again, like I said, I think it's definitely an improved plate system compared to these. And then the other option is obviously just run the MOS plates. Now, another really big problem with the MOS plate, and I've got this plate here, and this is after I have worked on bending it back. This plate has a bend to it. And that actually prevented me from being able to put this optic on. That's honestly the whole reason I found this plate and was able to use it. I posted a story on Instagram and asked guys, what's the best plate system? Because my plate is bent and I was not able to actually get a good seal. It would go on, but it would be up crooked a little bit. And I'm not gonna put something like that. You know, I want it to be flush and work properly. So I couldn't use this plate because from factory or at some point in the safe, I don't know how it happened, but this plate bent. And that kind of worried me when I saw that. So a bunch of people recommend CHPWS to me, and I'm glad they did because it's a really cool plate system. But it's definitely a downfall that can happen. These plates can bend, these plates can break, and you got little issues like that. That's kind of an extreme. I really don't see that happening. I don't hear that a ton. This is actually the first time I've ever heard of a plate bending, but obviously it can happen because it happened. So that is a downfall to that system as well. I don't see that happening with this plate system because it seems a little bit more robust and better made, in my opinion. So now I'm gonna go over how to install the plate and everything like that so you guys can see how that works. Here are the two plates for comparison. So you've got the Glock on the right and the CH Precision Weapons to the left. So basically the same concept, but you can see some little differences here with the plates. One being here with the CH is I have these little pieces right here that go right into this slot, and this allows you to get more threads into the screw compared to the Glock, which I heard you only get a couple threads in there. This one comes up so you can get a lot more threads in there so you get a better tightening to it. So that's one benefit. Another benefit is the fact that it's got a little piece, a lip I would call it right there, that the Glock doesn't have. And what that helps with is when you put the Glock one on, you've got this gap here between your slide, which I'll throw it on just to show you a really good comparison. So there's this almost goofy looking gap right there where it just drops off. That's a really good shot right there of it. So that kind of shows you exactly what that looks like. Now with this one, you lose that gap, and it's a really small detail, but it actually drove me nuts before I got the CH one and even looked at it. It was something I noticed. I was like, wow, why didn't they fill that gap? It was just something that kind of irked me a little bit. So those of you that have a little bit OCD or whatnot, that might drive you nuts. But it is something that's nice that they fixed with this one. So like I said, a couple little differences there that definitely make a difference. But there they are side by side for those of you that want to see like a really good close-up of them. This one's a lot lighter. So I'm gonna go ahead and install the plate here. So first thing you wanna do, make sure your gun is clear, and it is. So then I'm gonna take this plate, flip it over, put these little guys in here. Just like that. As you can see, they're sticking up. And I'll try to install this without losing them. So then that clips right into place. My screws. Place them in there. You're going to use 10 pounds of torque, so it does help to have a torque wrench, and they do provide the bits for it. And again, that's going to be 10 pounds. It does not seem like a lot. It seems like a really little amount actually, but when you get that Loctite style stuff on there, that helps a ton. So you're going to put that one on, and then that should look just like this. And then you're going to take your optic, which is the Tridron SRO. That's going to lock right there like that. And you want to put in the screws that they provide. Again, same thing, you're going to do the 10 pounds of torque. So there we go. Now it is installed on here. So if this is something you guys are interested in, check out CHPWS. They have some other plates as well. I really want to get one for the Hellcat. They make a plate for the new smaller Hollow Sun, so I'm thinking about getting that one here soon, which I probably will next year, because I think that'd be a really cool setup to run on the OSP model. If you guys want to help me out in the channel and everything that I do here, there's a couple ways to do that. There's a link down in the description. It takes you to my website. From there, you can order anything through the websites that are there, like Brownells, Aero Precision, Cloud Defensive. Anything that you order through those websites gives me a small kickback and shows those companies I'm generating flow, which is a really good thing. That helps me and supports my channel. There are also some discount codes down below that really help support my channel. So if you guys order from those companies and use my discount code, saves you guys money and gives me some small kickback. again, and that helps out the channel a lot, especially now with the ammo costs and everything. It's really hard to get out and do a lot of reviews for these just because of how expensive it is to shoot the guns and everything. So that does help a lot. If you guys don't want to do that, I just appreciate you guys being here, liking, share, and subscribing. Thank you guys so much. Also, another company that is a huge supporter of me is Howitzer. They help me do the things that I do here, and I really love their shirts and support them as a company because they donate 5% of proceeds to charities, which is a really cool thing, especially since last year they donated over $200,000. So I'm really excited to see what they do this year. So if you guys want, check them out in the description. Pick up some shirts for yourself as well.